Schmasturbating.
Schmasturbating.
Welcome back, bitches.
Welcome to Booze and Ball and Fantasy Football Shaken.
Not stirred.
I'm Todd Webb.
And I'm DK, and this is great to be back. A little off-season action for you.
Combine's over. It was a week
thank
ago.
God.
About a week ago.
I don't know why, but I actually enjoy watching men in tight pants rolling around.
It's the underwear Olympics at this point. It's ridiculous.
It's like ever since it happened. Was it Chris Jones that it happened to, where his dick fell out when he was running the 40?
Oh yeah, was it Chris Jones?
I don't think it was Chris. Whoever,
somebody's dick fell out.
I appreciate you out there.
Yeah, it was. It's. I love watching the combine, but man, like they do. It's like, why is it spandex? But then you look back and they show like when Brady was running, he had like a XXL T-shirt on,
them baggy ass shorts,
and then now they're in skin. It's ridiculous.
They're just trying to show off and steal all the white women.
It's fun. I'll watch it and then watch watching every group like celebrate running in the end zone and do flips and shit. Yeah. I'm just waiting for the first person to put themselves up.
Right, to actually get hurt while they're doing that.
Like try to do like
I think who was it?
Double gainer and then break an ankle or something and be like, oh well, he failed the combine.
Yeah. Somebody's gonna get hurt one of these days. Somebody pulled.
Am I doing this? Am I gonna open this?
Oh no, that's definitely my
They
job.
like to watch you struggle.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm getting better at these though. I'm definitely getting better at these.
Yeah, you are. So first off-season episode. Sponsored
I know, right? It
by,
feels good.
Not sponsored. Oh my God, it's been a minute. Inspired by
Basil Hayden. I thought this. It's not the 10-year. See, there I go again, fucking it up already.
We're just doing regular. Do you want to do the 10-year? I can grab the 10-year.
No, we're not going to do the 10-year. We should probably do it
for our 10th year. We're going something easy, something everybody knows, something that you can find anywhere.
If we do this
and
for 10
years, you can relate that.
We're doing 10 years throughout the whole. It's going to be an expensive season.
Everything's going to be a 10-year.
We'll do a 10-year the entire.
Everybody
season.
can relate to this one. It's pretty simple, drinker. Now you struggle for the next 15 minutes and do that, but so this is our first off-season episode. Getting ready to get towards everybody doing their drafts and the actual NFL draft. We're going to do a little bit of our rookie ranking, like top 5 at every position except for quarterback, because there's not.
So this is going to be more dynasty focused for the people out there, because a lot of
No, I'd say it's pretty fair. My rankings don't matter dynasty or not. I still value my rookies. I still value my rookies in the same order.
But I'm going to go out and say with this draft class, I don't think there's going to be a lot of rookies besides maybe Genty, just with the hype. I don't think there's going to be many of them cracking the top 10 or top 15 at their position in drafts this year for redraft.
No, honestly, last year there was only Marvin Harrison, maybe, and he was outside.
Neighbors went, but that was just because of landing spot.
And that's gonna change it a lot. But this is pre-NFL draft, how we see or how I see, and he's going to argue with me.
Yeah, I'm going to try and tell him he's an idiot. But...
And we're going to use the combine because we like watching the combine. How much do you value the combine?
Not a lot.
It's
Not
more of
a lot.
It's more of an eye test for me.
Yeah, agreed. So I like to
does their meat swing around in the tight pants?
So I take the combine results. I'll look at the guy like, oh my God, he's fast as shit, and I'll go back and watch his highlight tape. Mm-hmm. And I like to watch because look at Jerry Rice. I mean, I always like to bring up Jerry at combine time because everybody's always like, oh, 40 times, and Jerry ran like a 4.5 something. Right. Like he was not that fast, but his route running was so pure.
And a 4.5 makes you faster with good routes.
Right. Because
then a 4.7 with good routes.
He was still getting separation just because he would make guys look like idiots out there. He'd be spinning them around like a top, you know?
Like you could be Xavier Worthy, but not be able to run a route. And you're pointless. Which is the problem with a lot. Yeah. A lot of people would say, oh my God, the 40. And then, oh, you're fast. You should be drafted early. No.
Right.
You were saying how you like the broad jump and you like the vertical.
I like to look at those kinds of things. It shows more explosiveness. Your three cone drill.
Oh, I like that's what made me fall in love with Roma Dunze last year.
Right, because it shows you being able to change direction and keep your speed. Like that is massive on the football field.
That's how one of my tight ends jumped up my rankings after the combine was one of the drills, like the gauntlet. Put that right there. All right, let's jump into the quarterbacks because that's the quickest one. Honestly, this year's quarterback class is just bad. And again, pre-draft rookie ranking, we'll re-rank them after the landing spots. But
I think a couple might surprise. But
maybe a couple that jump in.
Shedeur Sanders is one of the question marks for me because I love him. His efficiency was through the roof in college. But
I have him at number 2.
You have that question of him of did he play enough talent on the field to make it worth drafting him high in the draft
by playing at Colorado.
Right, correct, because he didn't have a lot of defenses out there and then when he did finally play a decent defense, he was just okay. You know what I mean? Like, he was still good and efficient, took care of the football, but again, once you get to the NFL, they're all good. It doesn't matter who you're playing.
My thing with this year's class, even Cam Ward and Shedeur, I'm going to fuck that up a lot.
I think it's
Shedeur, whatever. Sanders.
At least I say Shedeur.
They're not even in the top 5 of last year's quarterback class.
Yeah, I agreed.
Like, maybe the only I put, you got Bo, Jay and Daniels, Flop Williams.
I still think he's going off this.
Caleb Williams, Jay and Daniels.
That's not
Bo
this
Nix.
episode.
You have Drake May ahead of him. I'd probably put Penix ahead of him.
Yeah, we're gonna see what
JJ
Penix
McCarthy be right there. So it's like these two guys
might not even crack those top 6.
Which I was talking about to someone the other day. I think that's probably part of the reason why Sanders decided not to come out last year.
100%.
I think he looked at the class and said, "I have a better chance of getting better money." And it's about money.
Oh yeah,
think about it.
It's always about money, and he's probably making good money to go play for Colorado. Just
right. So he was because now you can make money. So staying back a year and then being one of the top 2 guarantees him like probably top 10 draft signing bonus.
And then you've got some quarterbacks coming out next year. So if you're a team with a top pick, do you take a risk on one of these guys or do you tank for Manning? Because people are already talking about that.
I think you trade out of your pick.
I 100% agree with that.
I think you trade one of your pick, take someone later like Jalen Monroe or Jackson Dart, and as a backup, maybe set them behind your starter. Learn
Milroe. I think
Milroe.
Yeah,
Monroe. Jalen Milroe.
Say Monroe.
Milroe. Look, I mess up names. Is what I do.
That's what we do here.
But either way, I have Cam
especially
Ward,
as we drink a little.
I have Cam Ward as my number 1, and I got Sanders as my number 2. Honestly, they're interchangeable.
Yeah,
I think Cam Ward has a better arm talent, but Sanders is more accurate. So
I think Sanders is more pro ready than just about everybody in this class.
I just don't think he makes.
He's faster than I thought he was. He ran like a 4.4 something.
4.53 or something like that, which is better than I thought. But he's not a scrambler either.
No, I know, which is shocking. Because when I saw the numbers, I was like, that's actually faster than I thought he was going to run.
Yeah,
I just worry that he's not mature enough. He's too much. He doesn't have the talent that his father had, but he acts just like him.
He doesn't have that killer in him. When we argue basketball, he doesn't have that. I haven't seen it. He doesn't have that
killer instinct.
Like Jaden Daniels showed he has it more than Caleb Williams does.
Yeah, in
the pro set. And you said about them, and it sucks that they don't throw in the combine because you don't get to see them. And we were talking about that.
Right. Yeah. No, it's smart though. QBs in the combine, you see them skip it all the time. They more than likely are going to have a pro day for him so that the teams can come out and see what they're getting.
Which is why. Keep going. Sorry.
And the reason you do that though is because you don't want to go out and throw to wide receivers that you haven't thrown to for your entire career.
Yeah, because you know every receiver that you're going to land on your new team.
You know their speed. Like Milroe is throwing some darts out there, but then like receivers are slowing down. And it's like, it looks like he underthrew him, but it's like, he just didn't know that guy was greased lightning. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
but that's the sort I hate, because I look at it this way is you're going to the NFL to a team. You don't know all your receivers.
Right. But you'll still have an off season.
You'll have
You'll have your preseason to try and
that's why I think quarterbacks are so commonly misjudged.
Agreed.
Is because they're watching them in the safety fucking blanket of I pick you. Oh, you're my favorite. I'm going to pick you. And we're going to run these routes.
Yep.
I want to see what you do under pressure in the unknown. And that's why I think people get it so damn wrong with quarterbacks.
Yeah. And another good example is Will Howard went out and looked like crap at the combine. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But
he did.
He looked terrible. I mean,
Jackson Dart looked good.
And Jackson Dart, I think, could be one of the steals of this draft.
I think he could. I don't know if
he's going to go later, but again,
going to learn a lot.
I don't know if I take a risk on a quarterback this year, because you can get like a Ewers in the end of second, early third, maybe. It depends on where these guys start falling. But I think you can get some question marks, maybe some developmental players that you can get. Maybe a guy shocks you like a Jackson Dart.
That's why I think like the Titans are deciding to stick with Will Levis with all number one overall pick and taking talent first.
Yeah.
Because could they use a quarterback in a better class? Like if this was last year's class, they're taking a quarterback.
Yeah, 100%.
But because of the class, I think that's why they're deciding to stick with Levis and then pick better talent, and then if they suck again, then they're good.
Yeah, because again, the tank for Manning is already on. I'm hearing it all over the place, and it's going to make me puke when you start seeing teams just start throwing early. I'm going to hate it.
So we got to talk about all one of the quarterbacks this year. That was fun. Basil Hayden's such an easy drink.
Oh my God, it's so good, right?
I tell everybody, if you want to get into bourbon, this is Basil Hayden. Their entire brand is 80 proof. It's so light. All them up here, they're all, no matter what the version is, they're all right about 80 proof. They're all entry level and
what is
easy.
This one at? Is it right at 80?
It should be right at 80.
Yep, right at 80%.
They're all very easy, very drinkable, very approachable,
and very
to get entry level into bourbons,
and very sexy at the same time. I like this
bottle.
I like this band, this like bronze band around it.
I've always loved the Basil Hayden bottles.
Yeah.
Like I'm loving the Penelope bottles. They're my second favorite.
Yeah.
But the Basil Hayden's, and it's
you just like them
like,
tall
honestly,
and skinny.
This is a very easy, delicious drinking.
I told you I was only
anybody
having
can do it.
But now that it's Basil Hayden.
All right, so who's your number one running back?
Do I have to say it?
Shocker.
Yeah, right.
Shocker.
I mean, this class is loaded though.
Devin Neal, right?
Probably.
He's the best.
Or Omarion Hampton.
Omarion Hampton is my number one running back.
Yeah, see, I think the contact balance of Genty, it's tough to not pick him.
No,
But again, it's now granted, every time he faced a top defense, he shit on him and still put up like 150 plus yards and touchdowns and went off. So like,
in theory, Genty's your safe play. So my number, I have 1A, 1B. I have Genty and I have Omarion Hampton, and I have the second pick in some drafts, and I'm taking either one. I'm going to be happy. If I had the number one overall pick, and again, this depends on the landing spot, but pre-NFL draft, I like Omarion Hampton. He's 6 foot 210, as opposed to Ashton Genty being 5'9", 215. I'm not 6 foot 220, not 210. I like a little bit bigger of a back.
Yeah.
And I like a more powerful back. I don't mind a gadget back, but I feel like a gadget back gets hurt like Jahmyr Gibbs does with a guy like David Montgomery.
Okay.
And I feel like based on landing spot, Omarion Hampton has a better shot at being a...
What just happened?
My beard tried to get into the conversation. I just felt like brush over the mic because I'm real close. I feel like Omarion Hampton has more of an opportunity with his build to be a true the best 3-down back in the draft and get workhorse a workload.
I think Genty's going to be drafted to be one. So
I think he might. I think he's going to be, but we'll
see who goes in the first round, because if you give first round capital to a running back, that means you're putting him in the game almost immediately.
I think
unless you're the Atlanta Falcons.
This year's running back class is last year's quarterback class. Like it's good.
There's 13 running backs that ran a sub 4.4.
Yeah. And what's that fastest one?
That's insanity. Like, and they're all like 5'11",
I'm not even going to say his name,
pounds.
Basil Tootin or whatever.
Yeah,
ran the 4.32.
Yeah, absolutely nasty. But he also has a 40.5-inch vertical. So like, the dude's explosive. He could be one of those guys.
So he's Isaac Garendo.
Basically,
same size, I think, too.
Yeah, like he's just explosive as fuck and fast.
No, so my rankings, I'm going to go my top 5, and I know it's weird, but I'll run through them and we can talk about them. Obviously, I have 1A, 1B, Aston and Omarion. No matter where they land, they're both solid picks. It can't really bitch.
Yeah.
After that, it gets a little spicy because another guy.
Sorry, I want to say one thing real quick. Based off of what we're about to do with ranking these guys pre-draft, I think after the draft, this will be our biggest change as far as position and rankings.
100%.
I think running backs are going to be all over the place until we find out where they're going to go.
Even quarterback, this is the most position, landing spot based thing.
Right. Like a Tyrone Tracy last year shot up our board the moment he went to the Giants, because you were like, holy fuck, if he's only got Singletary to deal with and he's already going to be a workhorse.
Right.
So that's kind of like, I feel like Tyrone last year probably wouldn't even have cracked our top 5, but after going to the Giants, we were like,
now you would have taken him a top 5 after the fact.
Yep, absolutely.
So my 3 through 5, again, they're like 2 A, B, and C.
Okay. Well, yeah, I think
so. Like Trayvon Henderson could crack your top, could be one of the top 2 backs in the league.
Yep.
The problem with him is I look at him with him and Quinshon Judkins. God damn these names. But with Trayvon and Quinshon, like they're Montgomery and Gibbs.
Yeah. I would love it if they went to the same team.
I know. How funny would that be?
That would be fucking awesome.
Because Trayvon's more your Gibbs, but if you look at their carries and their catches, they're basically a 50-50 split.
Right.
The only difference is if you look at...
and it's funny because Quinshawn is definitely more like Montgomery.
Well, Trayvon was more efficient with his carries, averaging 7.1 yards a carry.
Yep.
The thing with him, why I drop him down, and I actually put him at 4. I skipped over my 3. I put him at 4 just because he does have an injury history.
Yeah.
And it worries me a little bit when it's given a full workload. Can he handle it? Or is he more needs to be in
You're talking Quinshawn here?
I'm talking Trayvon.
Okay.
Trayvon.
See, I get him.
And again, he's the Gibbs, so he's a passing. Like I think he's going to work best
where do you
in
have
a committee.
Trayvon at 3.
I have him at 4.
You have him who's at 3?
I haven't got there yet.
Oh, okay.
My 5 is Quinshawn.
Okay.
And I have a guy who I want to put in my top 5.
2, 4, and 5.
I want to see my number 3 is Caleb Johnson.
Okay.
Out of Iowa.
Okay.
Which to me, with his run, he's 6'2", 225, quick feet, and a downhill runner.
Yeah.
And he's really like, he makes his decision of his hole so fast that if it wasn't for lack of exposure and schedule and everything, he could have easily been a top 2, top 3 running back discussion in this class.
Yeah, but he's just overshadowed by.
He's
like
a better
names.
Najee Harris.
I could see that.
I think he's a little bit. I think
better vision.
But yeah, he's better at finding when he gets the balls. He's a wrecking ball.
Yeah,
but with like ballerina feet. And I think he could shock a lot of people.
Yeah,
and again, he's one of those depending on landing. I think he could be. Put them all on the same team. I think he's the 3rd best running back in this draft.
I don't hate it. Actually.
And he's handled full workload for a season. He had 240 carries to Quinshawn's 194 and Trayvon's 144. Like he had the biggest workload. His average was good per carry. He was averaging 6.4 yards. He catches the ball. He was right there with them in the 20s for receptions. So I have him as 3 as a sneaky little move. Like, and a lot of people are going to disagree that he shouldn't be in the top 3, but
probably.
I like him there.
I would have liked to see Quinshawn and Trayvon above him.
See, Trayvon to me for a while,
but again, it's going to be landing spot for those two, I think, because
up until the combine, I had Trayvon possibly be in number 2. I almost went Omarion, Trayvon, and then Genty.
I love his skill set because he's not that small, but he has hands.
Yes, he can catch, and he can catch anything. He could almost be like a slot receiver if you really wanted him to be.
I think
if it wasn't for the size.
I have 2 honorable mentions because I got to give Cam Scatabo.
I do. He's my Caleb Williams this year.
He's your Caleb Williams, but his contact balance is Ramondre Stevenson-esque. He plays just like Ramondre Stevenson.
And he's bigger than I thought. Honestly, I didn't realize he was 5'11". I thought he was more like 5'6".
He's more of a he looks like it, right?
He looks like he's 5'6", 192.
Just because his little legs.
But he's 5'11", 215. I didn't realize he was that big. I got to
give Scatabo an honorable mention, and I also need to give Jadon Blue out of Texas an honorable mention.
I like him too.
I think he's got a sneaky skill set. He's a little bit smaller at 5'9". And he's 196 pounds though, so he's a little bit on the smaller side for running back. But I think with his skill set, he could shock a lot of people. I don't want to go too far on him, but I definitely think his skill set will. Again, this is all landing spot.
I don't think you're alone on Scatabo either.
He is. I think he's
a tough player too.
And yeah, it's a mindset.
To me, he worries me to be too much of a gimmicky player, and I don't know why. When I watch him, I just don't.
He is a tough son of a bitch to bring down.
I know,
and that's why I like him so much. He's like the Mike Allstott of fucking running backs coming out, and I can't wait to watch him play in the NFL. I think if he gets in the right situation,
good comparison name is James Conner.
I do like that. Yeah, that's a good one. If he gets in the right situation, I think the sky's the limit for him. I don't know why. I just love the way that his attitude would translate on the
You
football
could be
field.
more right than I am wrong. You're 100%.
I just want to see him play. I can't wait.
This is a very deep, RJ Harvey out of UCF. He was fast. I joked around Devin Neal, loved him, and Damian Martinez, I like him.
You got Etienne coming out of Georgia.
I'm curious what he's going to do. I have him in my honorable mentions.
He played really well. He had a great combine. I think he put up. I think he did nothing but help his stock. It's not going to be. He's not going to go before the 4th round probably, but I think he could sneak in again. Opportunity comes and he just happens to play well. You never know.
I like Ollie Gordon's big ass too. 6'2". He's a big dude.
Yeah.
But so I have my
He's slow though.
He is. He's not fast.
He's going to be your first, second down guy Unless he can pick, and I don't know, you can teach speed a little bit.
So
for
my
those guys,
sleeper,
so
my sleeper, and watching him, LeQuint Allen out of Syracuse. 6'2", 201. Not a lot of people know a lot about him.
I was going to say, I have zero recognition of that name.
he's like a little smaller for 6 foot. He's only 201 pounds, but he led all running backs in receiving in targets and receptions in 2024. So if you look at everybody else, around 22, 23, 25 receptions, 64 receptions for 521 yards.
So he's basically a wide receiver back there.
Like, and he's still 6 foot 201.
He probably caught more balls than any Penn State wide receiver this season.
Averaging, and his catch, he's averaging 8.1 yards a catch. Yeah. Like, he's a sleeper. Someone in the right situation who's still big enough, can run between the tackles. He's a decent dude. The problem is being 6 foot and only 201. If you give us 6 foot 210, 215, and those same stats, I think he'd be easily in the conversation. He could
put that weight on too,
which he might.
And speaking of wide receivers,
oh yeah, here we go.
Are
there any in this draft?
I don't know what you do if you're sitting in a situation where you need wide receiver help in a dynasty league. I think you're trading your pick away this year to try and go find somebody that's already proven.
In dynasty, in redraft though,
I don't think any of them are cracking. They might not even get drafted this year, depending on where they go.
I say depending on where there might be 2. Maybe 3 that are going to be drafted rounds 10, 11, 12.
Yeah, you're taking dart throws at them.
They'll be your wide receiver 4 in a redraft league.
Yeah, exactly. And then hope they get in a situation where they can,
But we should still do them their justice and see what we're thinking. So who's your number one?
My number one is probably different from a lot of people's, at least from the experts. I like Luther Burden coming out this year. I think he's my number one.
Also have him. He ran a 4.41, which isn't all that slow either.
And again, we talked about the combine speeds. That's not always the end of the world. I like the way that kid plays football.
I like him too. And he's built, so he's built more like
an Anquan Bolden.
He's 5'11". He's like your receiver. It's funny. The NFL has transitioned to that 5'11" to 6'1" receiver. 195 to 205, 210 maybe wide receiver build. They've gotten away from the big, like Drake London's a bigger receiver, and he's just not that. It's not the Mike Evans and those guys. It's weird how the NFL has changed to the speedy receivers.
Yeah, we've got away from the Calvin Johnsons to.
God, I miss that guy. He retired too early. What is it with retiring too early on those teams?
That's the Lions for you.
But no, I have Luther Burden as my number one. I mean, the world has Tet McMillan as your number one, but
I can see it. I mean, Tet's got skills, but again, do you think either of these guys go like early in the first round?
Let's call him by his real name, Tatoria.
Sounds like a
6'5", 212. He is your hands. The problem is he's not fast. He's slow.
Yeah,
so and I mean he's slow in relative speaking, and he's good. What I've noticed with him is he doesn't get. He's going to catch the ball. He's a great athlete, but he doesn't have separation. He doesn't come out of the breaks great. He's
Jason Avant. That's what he reminds me of.
That is true.
He's third and Avant, man. He's like, I'm going to go out here and catch your 3rd and 8, your 3rd and 6 ball, but don't expect me to catch anything downfield.
I was going to say he's Drake London or Drake London-ish, but
I think London's got a little bit more
London's
talent.
Better than him.
He's a lot. I think he's tougher. I think London's a little bit better than he is.
I'm trying to think who I would compare him to.
Yeah, Jason Avant might have been too low on the board, but
no, I mean, I think in the right.
Similar,
if you put him in a place, okay, so let's say the Steelers.
What if he replaces Mike Evans? Let's just say he goes and plays with.
That's a perfect situation,
right? He just takes over his role, and he can teach him how to.
I was gonna say he'd be great in Pittsburgh. If Pittsburgh trades away George Pickens and Roman Wilson comes back as a small outside receiver, that's a good spot for Ted. Where you have the speedy receiver to complement, because that's why Mike Evans and Godwin are so good, because you have yin and yang.
Exactly.
So I think they could be 1 and 2, but Luther Burden, I prefer him over that. My guy who I could also move into my number one receiver, depending on landing spot, is Matthew Golden.
I could see that happening.
Which, let's talk about Babe Ruth calling a shot and missing. Like, how about Isaiah Bond? When he crossed out, he should have just kept fucking running like Forrest.
I still think he's one of the top 5 receivers coming out of this class.
Bond?
Yeah.
I put him at 6, 7.
Did you?
In my list?
I wouldn't put him all the way up, but
he got 8. Like, he didn't even get close. And his teammate Matthew Golden beat him.
Yeah.
Bro, what did he?
This is one of those wide receiver classes where there's going to be a guy that comes out of fucking nowhere and he's not even drafted, like a Julian Edelman, and all of a sudden he just like performs. You know what I mean? Like,
it's going to be Lance Spot, but I think Luther Burton, Matthew Golden, who I have at 2, and Ted I have at 3. So because I think that they fit the more prototypical role, and you got to think Golden ran a 4.29.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So he's fast, and he's still 6 foot 195. He's Jamar Chase.
Prototype,
he's Justin Jefferson. Mm-hmm. He's like that. He does have, and he has great hands.
Yeah. Well, who would you compare him to? Is he kind of got like a, well, I mean, I'm not going to say Larry Fitz because that's a little too much, but it's similar to that kind of guy.
Brandon Cooks.
That's a good one.
Early Brandon Cooks.
Yeah, that's a good. Dude, Cooks
fast with good
Cooks
hands.
Put on his whole. The only thing that kind of held Cooks back was his injuries.
Well, he took injuries, and I feel like he lost that step.
Yeah.
The problem with him is he's got the hands, but he wasn't big enough to win a jump ball. But he needed that little bit of separation. I think that killed him in the end.
He needed a quarterback that could actually put the ball.
I won't feel you. I'll let you feel yourself.
I'll put it in there then. Yeah,
that's what she said.
No, it's not.
But no, so those are my top 3, and I like Bond, but I think Matthew Golden he's too prototypical.
Did his shit talking of I'm going to go break the record in the 40 and then ran a 4.42
it knocked him down. It knocked him down a few. I'm not going to lie.
Because it was like, oh, I'm going to break his record. And then he didn't even, like, he was 0.2 seconds off. Like, he wasn't even fucking close. It was like, dude, like, what? You can't be 0.2 seconds off and say you're going to break the record.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
And then have your teammate beat you, too.
Exactly.
Like, did you not know that your teammate was faster than you and also running
or
did
he just run a really shitty 40? He put too
twice.
He put too much pressure on
2 runs.
Okay.
But did you not play with this dude all year and be like, oh, I beat him every time?
Yeah, right.
Like, and he beat him handedly.
Yeah, it wasn't even close.
What did Bond ran? Bond ran the 4.3. Not yeah. Yeah.
Well, did he get it? I thought it was 4. He ran a 4.40.
He ran a 4.40 the first time, and then a 4.39 after that. So my number 4, and it's kind of, and this guy gives me Puka vibes. Zach Beck out of TCU.
Okay. I don't know much about him. I didn't get a chance to watch a lot of TCU this year.
6'2", 215. Again, guess what he didn't do?
Drop the ball.
Go to the combine.
Oh, he skipped it?
No, I don't know. He just didn't run the 40. Wide receivers didn't run the 40 this year. It was really weird.
They all know they're slow and didn't want to put that on the film.
But I like him. He's a ball hawk. Okay. Like, he's a go get it guy, which is what reminded me of Puka.
Is he a garage door?
Garage door?
That's what I call them. Their catch radius is like massive. And
well, yeah, he's like, he catches, if he's one of those dudes, if it touches his hands, he's catching it.
Yeah, because
he'll go get it. He will he'll go to the ball.
Yeah.
And what a couple the tapes that I watched him was he might not have his separation, but when the ball's like in the air and close, he'll get that 1-2 steps to get the ball. He's a ball hawk, and I like that. And I think that's going to be good.
Right.
That's the Julian Edelman type of thing. He might be the dude you were talking about.
Okay. Yeah, I saw a sports science one time. That's why I call them garage doors, was because they did a sports science on Calvin Johnson, and they said he could cover the same width or the same area as a 2-car garage door, but from standing still. So, like, you could throw it anywhere within a 2-car garage door, and he'd be able to get to it. Like, it's basically a soccer goalie fucking catching the football.
I mean, so that makes a lot of sense.
I call them garage doors now. That's my thing.
Well, I mean, he's 6'2", so he's actually decent size too. So maybe
that's very Calvin Johnson-esque. He was 6'3".
Because he also reminds me a little bit of Ladd McConkey. Zach Beck does.
Oh yeah.
Zach Beck reminds me a little bit of.
I'm gonna have to look this guy up.
He looks like, to me, because like last year you told me about Ladd and I had not really looked him.
Right.
I think this is going to be the reverse. He's kind of a Puka Ladd hybrid to me.
Okay. I'm gonna have to look him up then, because that's two of our favorite.
Nobody is Puka.
Nah,
there will never be another Puka.
No, he's still a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL right now.
Rounding it out, top 5, Emeka Egbuka.
Yeah, good one. He's just pro ready. His route running is crisp.
He's one of the
Some people say he was better than Marvin Harrison Jr. when they were on the team together. So,
well, based on what Marvin Harrison did in the NFL, I'll buy it. That's the Kyler Murray effect. I
agree. Yeah, it's the Kyler Murray effect. Kyler just, for some reason, doesn't like to pull the trigger when he's supposed to pull the fucking trigger.
Unless it's on a video game controller. Then he will pull it.
Unless it's COD, then he's fucking all over that.
But no, Emeka, I think he's one of the most well-rounded wide receivers in this draft. At 6'1", he's kind of right in the middle.
Yeah,
but he doesn't pop like Luther. He doesn't have the size of Tet. He doesn't have the speed of Golden.
Yeah, I don't think he's quite as good as the previous Ohio State wide receivers to come out of there in the recent years. But he's definitely got the skill set to be in the top 5 for sure.
All right. Tight end's the second best position in the draft.
Dude, tight ends went from, we just talked about this pretty much all season with how all of a sudden tight end is just loaded with talent, and it's getting more talent.
There are a lot of tight ends in this draft.
And there's some guys that are just stupid good.
So let's just assume the number 1 tight end's going to the Raiders, because that's just what they do.
Yeah, pretty much. Then had Mayer, Bowers, and
let's just take Tyler Warren.
Yeah, right. I can see it happening. Fuck it, why not?
So who is Tyler Warren? Your number 1?
Tyler Warren is my number 1.
Being a Penn State fan too, like
the only reason I say Tyler Warren is my number 1 over some of the other guys, and if somebody wants to say Loveland or some of the other guys, there's a couple others that we're going to talk about. I wouldn't hate him for it. The only reason Tyler Warren is mine is because he's a Swiss Army knife. I feel like he reminds me of Taysom Hill.
Well, the playoff game they lost, no receiver had a catch.
He was the whole team.
He was everything.
He literally was like, I'm going to carry us to a win. And
I like that work ethic about him. I like that.
How do you feel about my comparison to Taysom Hill? Because when I watch him play football, he's just a football player. Like, he's thrown passes and for touchdowns. He's catching deep balls.
Not as mobile as Taysom Hill. But I get it. Yeah,
right. Like, because you're not going to throw Taysom Hill on the line to block, even though he's capable of it.
But you're going to throw Tyler Warren.
But he's capable of doing other things. Now, are you going to put him back there at quarterback like you would Taysom Hill?
No, absolutely. And he's 6'6" too,
and he's a monster. So it's like
the thing is he's not fast, but he doesn't.
But you don't need to be. Yeah. Travis Kelce isn't fast.
No.
He's just shifty as fuck. And that's very similar to what Tyler Warren does.
I think you have to put Tyler Warren at, I want to put him at 1 just because all around he is an absolute monster. Mm-hmm. He's the most guaranteed.
Oh, yeah.
Pro ready.
I think he's one of the very few non-miss players in this draft outside of the defensive side of the ball, because there's some monsters on the defensive side of the ball coming out like that you're not going to miss with.
So who do you like after him?
I like Loveland out of Michigan.
I like him too. I have him at 4 currently, only because for the same reason we like Warren. Tyler Warren, he's just an all-around beast. With the reason I put Loveland at 4 is he's not the most physical.
Yeah. Right, he's more of your Travis Kelce.
Yeah, he reminds me of Travis Kelce. He also reminds me of like a Mark Andrews.
Yeah, Jimmy Graham.
He gets
out of just go out and catch the ball.
He gets out of breaks
not
really good.
He's as talented as those guys.
He gets out of breaks really good, but he's not going to fight to get open.
Right.
He will. He's still a tight end.
Yeah, the thing I worry about with Loveland is the Kyle Pitts syndrome. Like, as soon as somebody gets out there, like you're saying, as soon as he gets out there and he gets physical and bodied up,
he gets shut down.
He's not going to catch the ball. Right?
That's my fear. Why I can't put him at. I put him at 4. At number 2, I put Harold Finn Jr. out of Bowling Green.
Yeah, I don't hate that at all.
He's like an Evan Ingram, like a Kyle Pitts. Like a Kyle Pitts, where he could be like receiver-ish, but kind of gets open. He will fight. He's more physical than Kyle Pitts. Yeah. I like him. He's fast too. He's actually one of the only tight ends that ran. He ran a 4.7, which is fast for a tight end.
It's not terrible.
For a tight end, that's fast, but I really like him just because he's 6'4", 230, a little on the leaner side, so he's going to be your quicker tight end. Yeah. He's like a Dallas Goedert.
Yeah, we'll see where he ends up. That'll be a big part for him.
But he's Evan Ingram, exactly. He could be a receiver.
Yeah.
You could almost put him in that, again, landing spot. After that, and this is a big combine thing, at 3, I have Mason Taylor.
I was just getting ready to say, I like Mason Taylor out of LSU. He's definitely, I think he's right there with Loveland and for my number 2 spot.
So we talked about it, the gauntlet. We talked about the combine.
Yep.
And this is when all of a sudden I was like, all right, you're moving up. Because I had him at 4. I had Colston above him, but I moved him up and I almost put him in 2. But because when he ran the gauntlet, he was the straightest gauntlet line that I've seen in as long as I can remember.
I think I remember seeing the highlight.
Like, he didn't get off that damn line. Like, you see him zigging.
The white and the yellow were like never crossed more than like this.
And he caught everything. And I swear to God, like every step was touching that line at some point. Like, he ran that perfectly. Like I saw Romo Dunze do the 3-cone drill. Like, it just, the way he ran, the way he caught. Now, he doesn't have as many yards or catches or targets as a lot of the other guys, but I think he's a scheme guy. He's gonna go into a place and be like a Tucker Kraft, Luke Musgrave type of situation.
Okay.
I don't know if he's built to be a number 1 tight end. I think he could. I think if he gets a little heavier and he learns, he could be a number 1 tight end. But I think he's going to go to a situation where he becomes like a 12-man type of tight end.
Yeah, it makes sense. There's the guy that can do it both these days is rare. Like your George Kittles of the world.
Yeah.
Like, they're super rare anymore, which is why I think Tyler Warren is my number 1, because I think he can do it all.
I think he's the guaranteed thing.
Right. Yeah. Another guy I want to throw out there. I don't know if you have him on your board yet. I can't really pronounce his name. I can pronounce his first one. It's Elijah Arroyo.
I have him at 5 out of Miami.
Yeah, out of Miami. I think he's definitely there with these top guys as well.
He's
I think
like
all
Harold.
of these guys,
He's like Harold. What the hell's his name? Finnan.
Yeah,
He's like Harold Fannin.
Yeah.
God,
sure.
that name. Keep calling him Finnow. Harold Fannin. He's just like him.
Yep.
He can get downfield.
Yeah.
He's a quicker tight end.
He is a wide receiver in a tight end body, 100%.
Yeah, and I love that because
He's a mismatch. He's going to be a red zone nightmare for teams, I think.
And he opens up the route tree for your slot wide receiver
Big
so
time.
much.
Yep.
Because they're not just locked into a right off the line of scrimmage position.
Yep.
Like you could have your slot and a guy like Harold or a guy like Elijah Arroyo crossing,
and
either one be open because they're fast enough to do it. That's why I like them, like the Evan Ingram type.
Yeah, especially in today's NFL, you got to be able to get it in the end zone.
The
Giggity,
dude. You're right though. I do like him. I have him at 5.
Yeah, I think he's right there for me. I mean, again, once you get past.
Outside of Warren, any one of them could be the number 2 based on landing spot.
Yep. And again, this is another one of those positions where I think it could change dramatically.
In your 16-team league where you can start tight ends in the flex only, any one of these guys I'd be happy getting.
Yeah, I think so too. In like the second round.
Which is my sneaky play in your league is I'm taking tight ends this year like every round.
I think I'm gonna. Yeah, I was.
Let everybody else.
To be honest with you,
the
I was gonna take Tyler Warren at that 116 because I won the league, and he's not gonna be there now.
Because you know where he's going. He's going at 130. I told you I had a plan. Did I not tell you that was my plan?
Oh yeah.
Depending on land spot, I'm taking Harold or Tyler.
Hopefully, none of those guys watch this fucking episode because
they won't. They don't love us like they used to.
No, they don't even get on anymore. Well,
so what do you think of the Basil Hayden?
This Basil Hayden is delicious.
It's an easy drinker.
It's definitely one of those ones that you just got to have on the shelf.
We were supposed to have a different bottle for tonight. We were going to have actually the bottle back there, but reasons being I got to have a second one before I open that one. Yeah. So we rank them now.
Well, I gotta make
Dustin's still got to get a tattoo, by the way. Let's just throw that. We got about 3 minutes here before we're going to get off. So let's just figure this out. We got to get Dustin's tattoo design, and I still owe you a bottle. I've had a hard time getting the Bardstown. So
that had to be close. I was actually just looking back at that episode. What was the final score of that?
No, you beat me pretty handedly.
Was it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, not handedly, but you
got Tyrone Tracy down there in the flex.
You got me pretty good. My dude shit. A lot of my dude shit.
Well, I had Neighbors and
but so what I'm probably going to do
Harrison
is
Jr.
I'm probably going to get you the Breckenridge rum cask instead because I know you like that.
That one's delicious.
Because I'm having a hard time getting my hands on the Bardstown in where we live. So I want to get you a bottle soon. So if you're cool,
I had to order that online to get it. Well, and speaking of the Bardstown, once we do the draft, Alan's going to have to bring that shit back, and he hasn't really touched it. So we get to drink an entire bottle of that on draft day. Because we got to clear it out for the next bottle to go into it. Which I still need to find the Peerless, which is really hard to find as well.
So next episode, we got a couple more off-season episodes, other rankings. We're going to do some draft talk, do some random stuff. But
it's going to get weird here for a couple episodes. Just bear with us because it's going to be funny. And tattoos and
the tattoo is going to be funny.
We still don't even know what it is going to be yet. I'm feeling it's going to be like a drunk Hello Kitty holding a football or something.
But we're going to do some other rankings. We're going to talk about some draft strategy stuff. Yeah. We might do a mock. Then we're going to start to put together the Booze and Ballin' League. So message us if you want to be part of it.
For sure.
Free to get in, but some prizes for finishing and stuff.
For sure. If we get enough people interested, we'll do a 32-team league. No, I'm just kidding.
Give you stuff like our new glasses.
Ooh.
Check out the link tree for the Etsy.
These things are pretty
new whiskey
cool.
Glasses.
It's a pretty sick whiskey cup.
All right, rate that Basil Hayden.
Oh, dude.
I mean, it's an easy one, but so taste and drinkability.
Taste is way up there for me.
Oh yeah, it's delicious. It's
Taste
easy.
is a 90, and you're trying to break your new glass.
Don't worry, I make them. Yeah, taste is good.
I'm giving it a 90 for taste.
All right,
I'm going straight 90.
Straight 90. I do a straight 6 3/4. Its drinkability is good too. This is your entry level bourbon. You can't compare this to like 110 proof, but if you want something that is delicious, easy, you're gonna share with people that are new to it, they're gonna love it. My taste, I'll match you with a 90 on taste, easy.
I think it's a good spot. Yeah, drinkability is up there too. I'm gonna go 88 just because I don't want to give this an overall 90, just because of it's only an 80 proof.
But it's so easy to drink.
It is so good. I know. That's just I'm actually. You know what? I'm gonna give it a straight 90 again. Give me the 90.
Cross that off.
Cross that off. 90. And give me the 90. So I'm giving it a 90 just because.
You know, it's a good one. It's a good one to put at a standard. So I'll do it too. And this is our 90 standard.
This is our 90.
It's our 90 standard.
So it's either Basil Hayden good or it's not a 90.
Now, is it going to be one of those that blows your mind? Like you take a sip of something, you're like, oh, that's amazing. Great flavor. No, but it is a damn good bourbon to drink.
Absolutely. It's not going to be like
season 2 standard Basil Hayden 90.
Yeah, exactly. And it's an 80 proof.
These out to
and again, if it's the 80 proof for me that really holds it back.
This is so low.
Because it's like you can drink this whole bottle and like,
well,
you'd be fucked up. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think you wouldn't struggle to drink the whole bottle, especially if you're used to drinking bourbon.
It's a little too easy to drink.
That's what I mean. You can literally kill the whole bottle of this. We could sit there, like, I mean, look at it. We're already freaking almost halfway through this thing.
And we're only having one.
Exactly.
I got shit to do tomorrow.
So do I. I got to go to New York.
Oh, that's right. Fuck.
So I got to get out of here.
All right. Well, been fun. Pukanuka.
Pukanuka.